Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, as today we got a top 5 players that the Edmonton Oilers should target at the trade deadline, as it is approaching very fast, as it's April 12th, which I am very excited for trade deadline to come around. And we even got some big news today as well, yesterday when this video is going to be uploaded. The Canadian government has approved that when players get traded from America to Canada, that they only have to quarantine for 7 days, which is massive for deals that we want to make with American teams, because we are mostly, from this list that I built, we're mostly going to be targeting players from American, and we're not going to be seeing big name players like Taylor Hall being picked up. So these top 5 players are realistic targets the Edmonton Oilers should really target in this year's trade deadline. Now, before we kind of get into that, I'd like to just say sorry guys for not uploading in the past couple days. I've been pretty busy, and I've been taking this time to just relax and take some time off. So I'm back now, back to almost uploading every single day. So let's get right into this, as we're going to have our top 5, and then we'll have some honorable mentions, kind of like what we wish could happen during trade deadline. But let's get into number 5, as number 5 will be Elvis Merzlikins. Now, the reason why Elvis Merzlikins is at number 5 is because I would love to see him as an Edmonton Oiler, but I don't think that's the main target for the Oilers right now during this regular season. I don't think we're going to be able to pick up a goalie, especially with the salary cap concerns that we're going to have to deal with. We would have to practically trade somebody out to pick them up, and that's what would have to happen with Elvis Merzlikins. Most likely Koskinen would have to go out, or that would be a deal that would be done in the offseason. I would love to see Merzlikins come into the Edmonton Oilers this year, but I don't see it realistically happening, and that's why he is at number 5. He's been honestly doing great for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I would love to see him in an Edmonton Oilers uniform, but for right now, he's going to be at number 5, but I think he's going to be a really big target for the Edmonton Oilers this upcoming offseason, especially with Mike Smith most likely will be leaving in the offseason or retiring. Who knows? Hopefully we don't bring him back and we look at Elvis Merzlikins. So for our number 4 spot, I have Luke Glendening. Now, originally, I did have Eric Holla in this spot, but when Frank Cervelli came out with some reports saying that the Oilers are mostly targeting Brandon Sutter, Glendening, and also Derek Ryan, and we're only really going to be giving up our 4th, which I've been hearing a lot of rumors that we're really not going to be giving up any high picks, like our 1st or any of our prospects, so most likely will be, low depth like Luke Glendening, which is the reason why he's at number 4. This year, he's put up 9 points in 31 games, but he's not really known for the offensive side of his thing. He's mostly known for his defensive game, and he is a great level defender. He put up some great analytics for his defensive game. Now, his offensive game is nowhere to be found. He's kind of like a Riley Seahan is the perfect way to put Glendening, but I think he would be a perfect third-line centerman, honestly, for us, and especially going for a deep playoff run. I think Glendening would be a perfect guy. He's a veteran guy. He's an assistant captain there in Detroit, and I think he'd be a big kind of veteran leadership piece, especially going for this playoff run that the Edmonton Oilers will be going in. At number 3, I have Bobby Ryan, also from the Detroit Red Wings, which I think if we were to spark a deal with the Detroit Red Wings, I think it'd be very smart with us to kind of, use that kind of connection between Yzerman and Holland, as Bobby Ryan this year has put up 6 goals, 13 points in 30 games. I think honestly Bobby Ryan would be another veteran piece. He's done great in the playoffs before when he was with the Ottawa Senators. He's formerly been a 30 goal scoring guy. He's been gone through a little bit of issues, but I think Bobby Ryan would be somebody to look at. He has cheap salary. He wouldn't be too expensive to pick up, and I think he would be a perfect guy to maybe even put along in the first line alongside of Connor McDavid and Jesse Puljujarvi, if we were to put, Nuge back down with Yamamoto and Draisaitl, which would be the dream lineup. But I think Bobby Ryan would be a perfect pickup for the Edmonton Oilers. He's a kind of a depth goal-scoring guy, which is definitely something we need. He doesn't give a too bad of a defensive game, and especially if we could maybe even package up Glendening and Bobby Ryan for this playoff run, I think that would be very good for the Edmonton Oilers and would make us even deeper goal-scoring-wise, and not just that, defensively as well, if we were to make that move, picking up Bobby Ryan and Luke Glendening. So on the number 2, I have Eric Staal. Now, I think this guy would be a perfect fit for our third line. He's a goal-scoring guy. He puts up the points. He doesn't play the worst defensive game in the world, but Eric Staal would just be that perfect third-line centerman, especially going for this deep playoff run that the Oilers hopefully should be going on. Eric Staal would really make that third line a hell of a lot better and would be way better than what Jujhar Khaira is. This year, he's put up 10 points in 31 games. With a struggling Buffalo Sabres, remind you of that. They are right now on a 15-game losing streak, so Staal's kind of stock is pretty low right now, and I think we could get Eric Staal for pretty cheap. Maybe even a third next year, maybe even a fourth this year. We could possibly pick up Eric Staal. I would love to see him in an Edmonton Oilers uniform, and I think he would be a perfect fit. Now, with salary cap, I don't know. We would have to trade somebody out. I don't see Eric Staal coming in, but it would be a nice surprise to see Eric Staal as an Edmonton Oiler. And for number 1, we have Jake DeBrusk. Now, this guy was a big staple of rumors over the past little bit. He has struggled a little bit this year in 21 games. He's only had 7 points. He's been struggling a lot this season, but this is a guy that's had playoff experience with the Boston Bruins. He's been formerly a guy that scored 27 goals and is a left winger and a guy that could perfectly play alongside of Connor McDavid, I feel, and I feel like he would be a perfect fit. Now, this would be a bit of a higher price for the Edmonton Oilers. Most likely, we would have to give up one of our defensemen like a Caleb Jones, most likely, or a Dmitry Samorukov to get a player like Jake DeBrusk. I don't see us really doing that, but it is a possibility since Jake DeBrusk has been in the rumors a lot over these past couple of weeks, especially connected to the Edmonton Oilers. So I feel like this would be something that the Edmonton Oilers would possibly look at, especially since Jake DeBrusk is locked up into next year as well. And if DeBrusk could be somebody that could be really pivotal, this could be a guy that could play up in the top 6 alongside of Draisaitl or Yamamoto, or even alongside of McDavid and Puljujarvi, which I think DeBrusk would be perfect alongside. Now we'll get on to the honorable mentions, players that I would absolutely love to see in an Edmonton Oilers uniform. Now we're going to be picking 3 guys, a defenseman, forward, and of course a goalie. Our first honorable mention will be Taylor Hall. Now I just don't see this ever happening. It'd be, I think that last was like a high draft pick and a prospect, which I feel would be a first, a prospect, and another prospect, which I really don't feel like us doing right now, especially if Taylor Hall is just going to be a rental. I don't think, we could bolster this team up and go for a very deep run, but for us to only have a top 6 that's dominant and then have a bit of a weaker top 9, I don't think that's really the game plan going into the playoffs, and I don't think Ken Holland would ever do that, especially since that is a pretty high price. And same with our next honorable mention, which is Mattias Ekholm. His asking is a first-round pick, an elite prospect, and a third asset. Mattias Ekholm would be a great defenseman to put alongside of either Larson or Barry, but Ekholm is just too high of a price. He would be nice because he's on a really nice contract for this year and next year, but just too expensive. And last but not least, Darcy Kemper, great goalie there for the Arizona Coyotes, and I would absolutely love to see him in an Edmonton Oilers uniform and him to be our starting goalie. But for right now, guys, that is it. Those are all the players that I think the Edmonton Oilers should target. Tell me, guys, in the comment section below what you guys think and who you guys think the Edmonton Oilers will pick up, or will they do anything at all here at this trade deadline. I feel like it's going to be a very quiet one here for the Edmonton Oilers. But for right now, guys, I'm going to end the video here. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Adios, amigos.